Dracarys. Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today I'm excited. I'm going to be reviewing episode 1 of House of the Dragon. So it is July 5th. Oh, I'm trying to get these on there. It is July 5th, and we just watched episode 1 of House of the Dragon. So as of the time of recording this, I think there's only 3 episodes out, and I am recording this as soon as we watched it. So let's get into this. So, I didn't review every episode for the first season because I wasn't really doing my reviews of TV shows and stuff at the time. I loved the first season. I am a big fan of Game of Thrones. I hate the sexual content, so we always skip through that stuff because it's just not necessary. But everything else I love, the world building, all that stuff. And my hair is really messed up. So I really loved House of the Dragon season 1, and I was so stoked for season 2, so we've been waiting like a long time for it. But now that so much time has passed, like my brain forgot all the details. So I really needed the recap at the beginning of this episode, which helped me. And we had to pause it several times for me and my sister to kind of talk over, for me to like, okay, this is that person, and the family connections and stuff. The family tree is really complicated, but I really love complicated stuff. And the funny thing is, we have been watching the show The Acolyte, which is a Star Wars show on Disney Plus, and we just watched episode 6 today, and then we watched House of the Dragon. So when you watch them back to back like that, you can see the heavy difference in the writing, the set, the race building, the world building, the acting, the plot, concepts and ideas, like everything. It's like House of the Dragon's on a whole nother level, and The Acolyte's like on the lower tier of creativity and pretty much everything. So it was kind of nice to get that perspective. So basically this will have spoilers for season 1 of House of the Dragon. So if you don't know anything about season 1, go watch season 1 before you watch this review. But basically, a lot of things going on in this episode is everything in season 1 and the finale kind of like rearing its head, because at the end of the last episode, the last season, I mean, Rhaena, I can't remember the names yet, I gotta get my head back into it, but the main female Targaryen chick, Rhaena, or whatever her name is, she sent her sons to different places to gain support because she's at war with the crown right now, because she was supposed to be queen, and her best friend who married her, her father usurped the throne and put her son on the throne instead of Rhaena or whatever her name is. And so one of her sons was attacked by the Targaryen Aemond with the eye patch, and his dragon basically ate his dragon and killed the boy. It was really tragic ending to the finale. So she's off grieving. Daemon Targaryen is trying to like get everything together, and it's kind of like the fallout of that. So there's some political stuff going on in King's Landing. The current guy on the throne, Aegar, I think his name is, he's an idiot, and he's trying to kind of like, they showed one scene where he's on the Iron Throne and people are like presenting their issues to him, and he's trying to like do right by the people. Like one guy is like, I lost sheep, and he's like, oh, we'll just give the sheep back. So he's kind of dumb on the one hand, but on the other hand, he's trying to be really nice. And the Hand of the King, who is his uncle, I think, is like constantly goes up there to him and like undermines what he's wanting to do. So he's trying very hard to like keep control of things and everything. And it seems like the queen, the mother of the king, I can't remember her name, it's Alicent, I think, or something like that, she kind of still is hoping for like a peaceful resolution to things and doesn't seem to want violence. But like at this point, they've murdered Rhaena's son, so violence is kind of inevitable. There's a lot of different things showing grief for the boy in this episode, and rightly so. The Valerian, or starts with a V, the V family, he's trying to get his ship repaired and everything, and he had this thing carved for the boy, and because Luke was going to be his heir, or the heir to his ships or something to that effect, so he's really sad, obviously. I loved how they showed Rhaena's grief, like she's flying on her dragon, and there's one scene where they find some sailors had found the piece of a dragon wing, and she obviously when they see the dragon flying around, they get scared and run off, and she lands and she sees like a cloak or something, a piece of her son's tunic essentially. And so she's sobbing and grieving, and the dragon roars behind her. And I think my sister mentioned she had read somewhere that the dragon was actually the mother of Luke's dragon. So like the dragon's mourning her baby, and then Rhaena's mourning her son. So it's like this really tragic grief moment, and it almost brought me to tears. It was so dramatic. So she comes back, and it was kind of like closure for her, because at the time she didn't want to believe her son was dead, obviously. And then she comes back and she's like, I want Aemond. Like, she wants Aemond dead, rightly so. So Daemon, being Daemon, he sneaks into King's Landing and hires this rat catcher to sneak into the palace because he knows the tunnels there, and to go kill Aemond, which I knew wasn't going to end well. Like, I don't know why Daemon's hiring this loser idiot guy to go do a job that, you know, frankly, he's probably not going to be able to pull off. So you know it's kind of going to end badly, you just don't know how. And then there's the scene where the rat catcher and his buddy are in there, and they take the dog with them, and there's the scene where apparently everybody's in an uproar because they kicked the dog, but you know that the actors didn't actually kick the dog. I know that showing it is bad, but like, I feel like people's priorities are a little bit warped if the people are like, oh, kicking the dog was such a bad deal. And yeah, like, animal cruelty, that's horrible, don't get me wrong. It was kind of a mean scene, obviously, but they go in there and they sneak into the queen's chambers, the wife of Aegar, who's on the throne, who's also his sister, and they have two little kids who are like, I don't know, maybe 4 years old, and they brutally kill one of the boys, which they were supposed to go in and kill Aemond, the guy with the eye patch who slaughtered Rhaena's son, but instead they kill the innocent little boy. So that's really tragic and everything. So basically there's just a lot of like death and violence and vengeance on both sides, and this isn't going to end well. There's a lot of like political drama, there's a lot of war drama, like war strategy, and like, oh, this place and that place, which I really like. I love all the political and war drama and like building up to the conflict. There seems to be Alicent doesn't, or I don't know if it's Alicent or her father, but the Hightower guy who's Hand of the King, who's trying to take control of everything, he doesn't seem to want the dragons involved. And yet Aemond, the guy with the eye patch, just in case I'm getting his name wrong, the eye patch guy wants to get the dragons involved, and he's got the biggest dragon. And the Hightower, there's a scene where he was talking to him and how, you know, you and your dragon are like the secret weapon, and you're the power in the country and that sort of thing, because his dragon's like the biggest dragon, so, you know, it's going to take a lot to take him down. But right now they're using his dragon to patrol the area, and it seems like King's Landing is actually going through a lot because there's a lot of resources that they're going out, because the dragons need more feed, more to eat, so they're taking more livestock, and it seems like there's a lot of issues with the people and stuff, so it seems like they're not doing too well, not really economically, but like there's kind of like the people are suffering the price of war, you know, the starting of a war and stuff like that. So overall, 5-star episode, like 5 stars for this episode. It was so good. Really great start to the season. It's still, I feel like it's like continuing a lot of the like aftermath of the last season and the last episode, the finale of season 1. And there's so much drama and everything. It makes you really want to, like, I'm dying to watch the next episode, but my sister had to go to bed and stuff. So it's like, it's just not going to end well, but I'm like hoping, and it's just like, there's so much drama going on, and it's like, it makes you wonder what the heck's going to happen next. And like, it's the style of Game of Thrones, so any character could be killed. It makes you root for certain characters, and it's just interesting to see where it goes. And especially after watching it back to back. But yeah, anyways, especially after watching it back to back with The Acolyte, it's like, it really does shine as a show. I'm so into it. My main critique that I do not like is the sexual content in this episode was completely not necessary. We skipped through, I think there was like 2, maybe 3 scenes. We skipped through them all. It was completely not necessary. I hate that. I wish that they could just keep it clean. There's just no reason for it at all. It doesn't really add anything to the story. But yeah, so that is the one thing I don't like. But overall, I really like all the plot lines and the drama that's being set up. I kind of spent a lot of this episode trying to remember who is who and who is related to who, because there's like Rhaena's kids, I thought they were Daemons, but apparently they weren't Daemons, and so there was like, I had to remember all the details about that, all the family dynamics. But I love when shows get complicated and when they get complicated politically. Another thing that I did like was the Rhaena's son, the oldest boy, he went to Winterhold to try to get the Stark support for her, and he didn't know about his brother's death at this time, so he went to the Watch because the Stark guy, the Stark Lord, he's young, I think he's the Lord of Stark, I don't know, of Lord of Winterfell, but the Stark guy is on the Watch right now, and so I liked them. They had kind of a conversation on the wall, and it's like, he talked about how the dragons would come to the wall and wouldn't fly any further, so it makes you realize, like, whatever's beyond the wall, which we kind of know from Game of Thrones, but like, it's enough to scare dragons and to tear them away from it. So it kind of makes me interested. I really like, what I want to know is if this takes place like far enough before Game of Thrones that this would be leading into a winter, or because the winter and summer seasons, in case you don't know, are really long in this franchise. So it's like, either this is going to be kind of continuation of like the long summer and then leading into the really long winter that Game of Thrones has, or it's far enough back that it may have its own winter coming as well. So I don't know, and I don't know if that's where that's going to lead or whatever. But again, overall 5-star episode. I love it. I can't wait for the next ones. I'm also reading Fourth Wing right now, so it's like my dragon mood is like, I am just so in a dragon mood. And I do feel like they're using the dragons a lot more already. Like in episode 1, they had a lot of dragon stuff going on. And I feel like season 1, they didn't use the dragons as much as everybody was expecting. Like, I love season 1, but my one critique about it, I would say, is that they didn't use the dragons as much as we were expecting, which was very disappointing. But it did build to a grand finale with like the dragon stuff and the big dragon fight between Aemond and Luke. So I mean, it did have that, but like, I wonder if they took the critiques from that and of using the dragons a lot more in season 2, or maybe they have a bigger budget so they're able to use the dragons a lot more. But either way, I love the dragons. I'm really interested to see where it goes. And yeah, so that's basically my overall 5-star episode. That's basically my review of House of the Dragon season 2 episode 1. So let me know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments below. What do you guys think? How are you enjoying it so far? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What are your favorite aspects of it? I love all the characters. I love the world building, the race, like everything. Like, and it's really nice to get to hear familiar like towns, like they mentioned Old Town, they mentioned Riverrun, you know, Winterfell, like some of these towns that we remember from Game of Thrones. Like, it's just a familiar world and universe, and it's just so creative. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. In the meantime, if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In the meantime, if you liked my review of this episode of House of the Dragon, then check out my review of House of the Dragon season 2 episode 2. I'll have that out by the time you guys are watching this, so check that out. I'm sure it's going to be really good and you don't want to miss my review on it.